Good morning students. I hope you all are doing good. I welcome you all students to commerce class. I think so you will be happy in listening the commerce class. Today we are going to discuss in detail chapter 13 concept of market and marketer under unit 5 elements of marketing. Students, this is a very easy chapter. It will be very interesting for you all. First let us move on with meaning and definition of market. And under that, first, let us see about meaning. Meaning in sense, what actually the word market means. The word market is derived from the Latin word marketus, which means trade, commerce, merchandise, a place where business is transacted. Here trade simply means buying and selling. Commerce also means buying and selling, but also includes other activities which helps trade. Merchandise means products and a place where business is transacted. So market is a place where business is transacted. Business means as a whole, it deals with trade as well as commerce. So both trade, commerce put together is termed as business. So this business takes place in the market. Commonly, market denotes a place where goods are bought and sold. Goods means products. It simply means the meeting place of buyer and seller. So the meeting place of buyer and seller is called as market. Why is the market called as a meeting place for buyers and sellers? If we, the consumers, want any product, what we will do? We will go to the place where the product is available. So normally, where the product will be available? Normally in the shops or in the market area. So when we go to the market, we will try to purchase the product we want. We will normally buy the products from the person who's selling that product. So in that particular place only the buyers and sellers meet. Since they meet in that area, it is termed as market. Next we'll move on with definition of market. There are two definitions given by two different persons. First we'll see about the definition given by Pyle. Pyle has defined market includes both place and region in which buyers and sellers are in free competition with one another. Here he denotes and he defines like it is a place and region. Region means area where the buyers are free to purchase the products and sellers are free to sell their products with one another. We'll move on with the definition given by Clark and Clark. He says, a market is a center or an area in which the forces leading to exchange title to a particular product operate and towards which the actual goods tend to travel. Here, he actually tells that when a purchase has been made, when the buyer, after purchasing the product, normally the title and the ownership of the product moves from the hands of the seller to the hands of the buyer. So the actual goods travels from one person to another person. So from the above definitions, what we can observe it, that is market means a place where buying and selling take place. Buyers and sellers come together for a transaction. Transaction means what? An action that is being carried on. And it is an organization through which exchange of goods takes place. Exchange means also transfer. The act of buying and selling of goods to satisfy the human wants. Next, it is an area or a center of operation of commercial demand for commodities. That is, it creates a demand for a product, want for the product. When the demand for the product increases, normally it creates the person, it tends the buyer to purchase the product. Next, we'll move on with need for market. What is a necessity for the market to be in present? So what is the first necessity is the exchange for goods and services. Normally market only is a place where we can go purchase the products. So exchange takes place there in order to adjust demand and supply by price mechanism. Normally when demand increases, supply also tends to increase. So that there is an adjustment can be created only in market. Next, to improve the people in the society, the quality of the people in the society in order to increase their standard of living. Next, to introduce new modes of life. Normally, life pattern, when you see in the olden days, life pattern of the old people is not the same as of now. So that only the modes of life keep on changing as the new introduction of technology comes into the market. Hence, the need for market arises for the consumers to satisfy their own needs. Normally, if there is no market, we the consumer cannot purchase the products. If there is no market, we cannot satisfy our needs. So, the need for market was felt essential. Students, next we'll move on with classification of markets. Markets are classified on the basis of area. Under basis of area, there are family market, local market, national market and world market. Next, on the basis of goods. On the basis of goods, it is again divided into two, commodity market and capital market. Under commodity market, there are produce market, manufactured market, bullion market. Under capital market, there are money market, foreign market and stock market. Next, on the basis of economics. On the basis of economics, it is divided into perfect market, imperfect market. On the basis of transaction, it is divided into spot market and future market. On the basis of regulation, it is divided into regulated market and unregulated market. Next, on the basis of time. On the basis of time, it is divided into very short market and long market. On the basis of volume, it is divided into wholesale market and retail market. On the basis of importance, it is divided into primary market, secondary market and terminal market. Students, this is an easy topic and also very important question. Students, don't get frightened by seeing this chart. It is very simple and easy. Before moving on with explanation of these classifications of market, I will just show the pictures of some kinds of market. You just take a look of it. This is a cattle market where cattle are being sold. Next comes goat market where goats are being sold by the seller. Next comes flower market where flowers are being sold by the seller. They will make garlands with the help of the flower. Next, we'll move on with the explanation of these classification of markets. First one, on the basis of area. Under area, first market is family market. Family market is a market confined within a family and close members of the family. Such market is called family market. It means the family will exchange the products, exchange the goods and services within their own family. So such market is called as family market. Next comes local market. Local market in sense the buyers and sellers belong to the local area, maybe like town or villages. So within the town and villages, if the buyers and sellers engage in the process of transfer of goods, that market will be termed as local market. This market will engage in the exchange of perishable goods like fruits, fish, vegetables, etc. But strictly speaking, these markets are slowly disappearing because of the efficient system of transportation and communication during this century. Even then, in many villages, such markets exist even today. Next market under basis of area is national market. National market is a market where buyers and sellers belong to the same country but of different regions. So, national market came into existence only when the demand for the product created throughout the country. Today, the goods from one corner can reach other corners in the country with the ease as communication and transportation facilities are developed well in India. This creates national markets for almost all the products. Hence, this is called as a national market. Next market is international market or world market under basis of area. Under international market, the buyers and sellers of goods belong to different countries. The goods are exchanged from one country to another country. beyond the boundaries of a nation. So, students, on the basis of area, there is family market, local market, national market, and world market. Next, we'll move on with the basis of commodities. On the basis of commodities, there are two types: commodity market and capital market. First, we will move on with commodity market. Commodity market is a place where produced goods or consumption goods are bought and sold. Commodity markets are subdivided into: first one is produce exchange market. This produce exchange market is organized where commodities or agricultural produce are bought and sold on wholesale basis. Generally, it deals with a single commodity. Example: wheat exchange market of Hapur, the cotton exchange market of Bombay. Next comes manufactured goods market under commodity market. This manufactured goods market deals only with the manufactured goods, that is leather goods, manufactured machinery, etc. Next comes bullion market. This bullion market under commodity market deals with the purchase and sale of gold and silver. Next market under basis of goods is capital market, and under capital market there are three markets, that is money market, foreign market, stock market. Why capital market came into existence? What is the necessity? New or ongoing concerns need finance at every stage. That is, newly started business needs finance at every stage. Their financial needs are met only by these capital markets. So first one is money market. It is a type of market where short-term securities are exchanged. Short-term securities means short-term finance. It provides short-term and very short-term finance to industries, banks, government agencies, and financial intermediaries. Next market is foreign exchange market. Foreign exchange market is an international market. This type of markets helps exporters and importers in converting their currencies into foreign currencies. Next is stock market. This is a market where sales and purchases of shares, debentures, bonds of different companies are dealt with. It is also known as securities market. So example of such stock markets are stock exchanges of Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, etc. Next market on the basis of economics is perfect market and imperfect market. Perfect market in sense a market which is up to the mark, that is it satisfies the following conditions. We will see now the conditions. First condition, large number of buyers and sellers are there. In perfect market, prices should be uniform throughout the market. Buyers and sellers have a perfect knowledge of market. Goods can be moved from one place to another without restrictions. The goods are identical or homogeneous. Identical means the same. These conditions, if it is fulfilled by certain market, is termed as perfect market. Imperfect market in sense the market which does not fulfill these conditions, where products are not similar in this market, prices are not uniform in this market, there is lack of communication in this market, there are restrictions on the movement of goods. Here the movement of goods are not freely transferable. So this type of market is called as imperfect market, where conditions which has to be fulfilled are not satisfied by these markets. Next, on the basis of transaction. Under transaction, there are two markets, spot market and future market. In simple terms, it means cash and carry market. You make the payment immediately and buy the goods and go on. But in case of future market, it is termed as credit market. There will be availability of credit where you may buy a product and make payment later through way of installment or after a certain period. So such market is termed as future market. Making payment in future period is termed as future market. Next, on the basis of regulation. On the basis of regulation, there are two markets, that is regulated market and unregulated market. So regulated market in sense the market which has certain rules and regulations that is put up by the government regarding pricing of goods, ceiling pricing, floor pricing, etc. So if there is any regulation brought in by the government, it is called regulated market. In case of unregulated market, it is free from the regulations of the government. The market which is free from government regulations, rules is termed as unregulated market. The pricing system in this market depends upon the demand and supply of the product. If demand is more, the price of the product will be more. If the demand is less, the price of the product will be less. Hence, in this market, there is no government rules and regulations. They can take their own decisions. Next, on the basis of time. On the basis of time, there are three markets: very short market, and long market. Very short market is a market which deals with perishable goods like fruits, milk, vegetables, etc. Because these perishable goods decay in very short period. If the market deals with these perishable goods, that type of market is termed as very short period market. Next, we'll move on with short period market. This market deals with the goods where demand for the goods is greater than supply of the goods. Such markets are known as short period market. Next comes long period market. This type of market deals in durable goods. Durable means long lasting goods, where goods and services are dealt for longer period of usage. Next, on the basis of volume. On the basis of volume of business, there are two markets: wholesale market and retail market. In wholesale market, goods are supplied in bulk quantities. Bulk means huge quantities to dealers and retailers. The goods and services are not sold to consumer directly in the case of wholesale market. But in case of retail market, in the retail market, the goods are purchased from producers or wholesalers by the retailer and sold to customers in small quantities. Here is a picture of retail market and wholesale market. Students, take a glance of it. Next, on the basis of importance. Under importance, there are primary market, secondary market, and terminal market. Under primary market, the market deals with the primary products which is produced from the farms. That is, the farmers, they produce the products, and what they do is they sell it to the wholesalers or consumers. Such markets can be found only in villages, fully dealt with farm products. Next comes secondary market. In this market, semi-finished goods are marketed. Here, finished goods are not sold. The dealings of commonly between the wholesalers or between the wholesalers and retailers. Next is terminal market. Terminal market is a central market which serves as an assembly and trading place for commodities in metropolitan area. Metropolitan area means metropolitan cities. For agricultural commodities, these are usually near transportation hubs. Transportation hubs in sense near transportation areas like bus terminals. That's all for today, students. Next part of chapter 13 we'll see later. Thank you, students.